Hi everyone, happy Tuesday, and thanks for being here for this week's Art Chats. If you're not familiar with my Art Chats, it's a weekly event I do live on Instagram. Excuse me. They are weekly talks about ways to encourage creativity, to empower our creative voice, and to talk about just topics like learning how to be creatively vulnerable, developing your artistic voice, and things like that. Today's topic is course corrections. So we're going to be talking about how to kind of evaluate your goals now that we're in the middle of the year. We are on July 2nd now. It's officially like pretty much the midpoint of the year, and it feels like it's really been a long time since the calendar changed to 2024. Like so many of us, I started the year with grand plans and an optimistic outlook about all the things that I could accomplish in the next 12 months. I even did a whole Art Chat episode about it, and I detailed the strategy that I was going to use to break my big goals into small steps so I could make 2024 a year of big improvements in building my art business. If you want to go back and look at that episode again, you can. So that is going to be on Instagram, or I was also going to mention I now have a list of all prior art chats listed on my website. So you can go there. It's emilyjaleski.com, and you'll be able to find resources and a full archive to watch and replay the previous art chat episodes. So, like so many of us, I started the year strong, and then I slowly lost momentum as the months passed. This last weekend, my mom visited, and we were discussing the goals that we had both set back in December. We had both accomplished a lot of things, but they weren't necessarily the things that we had set out to do. So that made me start thinking. There's stuff I've planned, but I haven't done. And there's things that I didn't even think about at the beginning of the year that I have done. Opportunities came up, and I went and pursued them. And those were great things, don't get me wrong. But it wasn't on my radar at the beginning of the year. So there are those things that I maybe expended energy on instead of something else that I had originally set out to do. For example, one thing, in 2023, I did these art chats every single week. They were every Tuesday night. Then in 2024, when January started, I switched those art chats to be only twice a month, so basically every other week. And my idea there was that, if I wasn't having to come up with a topic and write and edit and present it each week, that maybe I'd have more time for other things. That may have been the case, I don't know, but what actually ended up happening is I got out of practice with doing the live chats and presenting, and I could notice a difference, and I wasn't happy with the performance that I was giving and the content I was providing. So a few weeks ago, I kind of looked at that again, I reconsidered, and now I'm going back to doing art chats every week. And anything you do, your plans are going to change, things will shift. And in my case, I went and pulled my original document from the beginning of the year, where I listed out everything I wanted to do by month, and there were only a handful of things that I had listed at the beginning of the year that I wanted to do that I have actually done. The rest of the things kind of got shifted around. A lot of things got added after the fact, which again is fine. But it's kind of made me reconsider how productive I'm actually being. I'm still getting a lot of things done, but are they moving me closer toward the goals that I set at the beginning of the year? I don't really know. So it's important to take time, throughout the year, and now is a really good time since we're halfway through. But it's not too late to sit down, to restart or reset. And if this was something, if you didn't take the time at the beginning of the year to set goals and consider your intentions and your purpose for the year, it's not too late. You can start now, you can start anytime. The physical calendar from January to December, that's so many people get caught up in thinking that that is a measurable time, but you can start over anytime you want. There are still 6 months left in the year, and so there's still time to correct your course or to set a course. If you ran into snags like my mom and I did, that's to be expected, and it's okay. A lot of people, I think, are probably gonna be able to identify with this. But life happens, so just give yourself some grace. One thing to remember is that less is more, and this is something I kind of got caught up in. Stay focused on what matters to you, and don't get distracted by other shiny, fun projects to start. It's really fun to be able to cross things off your to-do list, but don't do things that are maybe unrelated or that you're not passionate about or that won't move you forward towards your goals just so you can add something to your list and cross it off. The quantity of things that you accomplish is not as important as the quality of the things that you are accomplishing. Another thing to think about is don't compare your progress to others. That was something my mom was struggling with this last weekend. So many people, she's part of a creative group, and a lot of the women that she meets with have gotten so much more done than they intended by this point of the year, or more projects completed than she has. It's easy to compare your progress to what other people have done, but that's not necessarily realistic. So first of all, you don't know what these other people have prioritized or sacrificed to get a particular task done. Also, it's important to remember that we're all at different stages of our lives, and that can play a really big role in the time we have available to work on things. Someone who is single with no kids is going to have a completely different time frame or schedule or availability than someone who is the parent of a young child, or the same thing with an empty nester or someone who is retired. All these different stages in our life have different roles, different responsibilities, different challenges, but also different bonuses or advantages. Side note, just kind of be present where you are and enjoy that stage of your life. But value those things, whatever else is going on in your life, whether it's volunteering, whether it's community involvement, a social life, you're running your child around or children to all kinds of different after school activities, whatever it is, take that into consideration too, because you just can't compare the things you're able to accomplish. It's not fair to you, and it's not fair to the other people that you are using as a basis for comparison. Another thought I had was that, maybe you're going about things in a different order than you had originally intended. And that's okay too. Just make sure that you're not getting off track. So I also wanted to share a few steps to help you with your mid-year goal reset. The thing I always say, set aside some time and make sure you put this in your calendar or your planner or whatever it is that you use. But allocate 30 minutes or an hour or however long you think you need, however long is appropriate. But pencil that time in so you can avoid interruptions, so you can be focused. I know for me, if something isn't written down in my calendar, it's probably not going to happen. I have to have things in my face so I see them and have a visual reminder. So when you do get a chance to sit down and start evaluating your progress, I want you to first collect any relevant notes, lists, journal entries, plans, whatever it might be, however you operate with your planning techniques and strategies. Get all those things out. Review the intentions that you set at the beginning of the year and refresh your memory about why those things were so important to you. Why did you put them on your list in the first place? Then I want you to take time to reflect on each of those goals. Think about things like, what progress or accomplishments have you made? What habits have helped you be successful? What are you struggling with? What could you have done differently? Is there anything that's no longer relevant or important to you? Are you doing fake work? And by that, I mean kind of what I alluded to before. Are you just doing unrelated tasks to stay busy and to be able to add them and then cross them off your list? Are those things really driving you forward to meet your goals? Or is it just busy work? Are you on track to meet any outside deadlines? Some of these things that we're talking about may be self-imposed, and so there's no real deadline, but other things, if you are working toward a publication or an interview or something that's dependent on someone else's schedule, that maybe carries more weight than something that you're working on just for yourself. And I don't mean it's more important, but if you have an outside deadline, that's definitely something you need to consider. And finally, of your original goals, what is realistic to accomplish? What do you think you can actually get done with the remaining 6 months of this year? And of those original goals, it's okay to reassess if you still want to do those things. Are they still serving you and bringing joy? If not, it's okay to set them aside and move on to something else that will make you happy and expresses your passions, your creative passions, or something that will move you forward toward that. Sometimes our plans change. We set aside things that are no longer working for us, but the time you put into working on those things isn't a waste. What did you learn from the experience? And even if it's just that particular thing is not for me, that's okay. That is a really big insight, because then you can set that aside and identify the things that you do want to work on and move forward there. So after you've done the time to reflect, think about how you really want to move forward. So this is your opportunity to adapt. The things that haven't been working, can you think of a way to change that, or a way around your obstacles that you're experiencing? Do you work better with regular check-ins, either with yourself or maybe someone else, a friend, a relative, a spouse, a business coach, a peer, whatever works for you, and whoever's willing to work with you on that? You could maybe provide each other support and accountability. An accountability buddy is a really great idea, by the way. But if those check-ins are helpful for you, you might want to add those to your calendar, and you might want to do it more often than just every 6 months. You could do quarterly, or you could do every month, just to keep yourself on track and make sure that things are going according to plan. Then you can also post your goals where you can see them to help you stay on track. Like I just said, having a visual reminder right in front of me goes a long way to making sure that I can stay focused on what I'm working toward. It's really easy for me to get distracted by something else, or to move forward on an idea that is completely unrelated, and not that that's a bad thing, but that's also a really good opportunity to consider, does this fit into my larger goals, or can I fit it in a different time? Those are all just kind of different things that you should think about. If there are any new time management techniques that you think might be helpful, you can work on implementing those. Ask for assistance, again with an accountability buddy, or consult an expert like a business coach, a mentor, a teacher, someone who's familiar with your field, and can help you keep moving forward. Also, take things into account through the rest of the year, like family vacations. School is going to start back if you have a child or a student in university, or maybe a year in school too. In the South, we have to think about hurricane season, unfortunately. That's something we can prepare for a little more, but if you get hit, then you're gonna probably have time, maybe without power, you're not gonna have internet access, and just through the nature of any natural disaster, your priorities are going to shift. And then suddenly we're almost to the holidays, and it's Halloween, and then Thanksgiving, and then Christmas, and boom, 2024 is over. So it goes by really fast. So just think about, are these things that I still want to accomplish this year, are they realistic? And Remember that this is a reset. The purpose is to help keep you on track. It's to empower you and not to shame you. It's a great time to revamp your commitment to those things with renewed energy and enthusiasm. You can adjust your action plan. You can break your goals into manageable steps. And the biggest thing to remember over all of this is that the amount of progress or lack of progress that you have made is not a reflection on you as a person, and it's not a reflection on your worth as a creative, as a maker, as an individual, it's just something that we all struggle with. So I'm sure we can all commiserate with the struggle. Finding a balance between all of our responsibilities is always a challenge. So if you are feeling discouraged, don't give up. If you're feeling discouraged or like you don't know what to do next, reach out to me. I'd love to hear from you, and I'd love to be able to help if I can. You still have 6 months. That is nearly a lifetime. And it sounds like it can go by really fast, but if you use your time wisely and you're intentional about what you're doing, there's no limit to what you can accomplish in the next 6 months. So good luck, you guys. Again, reach out if you need anything from me. I'd love to be able to help. And if you want to be part of my email group, I have a newsletter that goes out every month. The next one is going to go out tomorrow, so if you're interested, make sure you subscribe before then. I talk about things like what's inspiring me, events coming up, new collections, new art, behind the scenes, my creative process, and content that isn't anywhere else. It's not on the blog, it's not on social media. So if you want to sign up, you can go to emilyjaleski.com/subscribe. And there will be a form right there. So I would love to see you there. I'd love to be able to connect with you in a different way than this. And as always, remember that these art chats are every Tuesday night at 6:30 Eastern Time. So I will see you back here next Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Have a great week, you guys. Bye.